Hi, I'm Mike Bellevue. I'm the black powder editor for Guns of the Old West magazine. And today we're going to be out here shooting one of my first single action revolvers. This is a Hawes Western Marshal, and it's in .44 Magnum. This is my Hawes Western Marshal. It's made by Saurer. It was now better known for Sig Sauer. But back in the 60s and 70s, they were a big revolver manufacturer in Germany. And they made these guns. Now, I'll just show you that this is empty. This is a pretty conventional single action, except as you'll see, there's no firing pin on the hammer. The firing pin is mounted in the frame. It's a floating firing pin. This gun originally had rosewood grips. I added the white grips to this gun probably 15 years ago. They're faux pearl, but originally it came with these laminated rosewood grips, and of course I kept them. And every now and then I'll use it with these because it kind of returns it to that look it had when I used to lust over these things in the Western Auto catalogs when I was a kid. So this is what it would look like as pure stock. I've always liked a bit of bling, so I put these phony pearl grips on it. But I switch back and forth between that and the rosewood as the mood hits me. This gun is pure box stock, except for one thing. Originally, the chambers were countersunk for the heads. So the problem I had with that is the cylinder came all the way back to the recoil shield, and you couldn't tell if you had an empty round under the hammer for safety's sake at cowboy action matches where they check your guns to make sure. So I just had a gunsmith kind of cut the back of the cylinder off so it would expose the cartridge heads so I could see if it was loaded or not. Well, this is what the countersunk chambers look like. This is in .45 Colt, and as you can see, the entire cartridge rim is enclosed by the cylinder. And here I've got two guns, my Great Western, where you can see the shells now because I've had the cylinder cut back, and then an EAA Big Bore Bounty Hunter, where you can't tell if it's loaded or not. Now, a Western Marshal was actually my first single action revolver. In fact, it was my first revolver ever. I bought it when I was 17 years old, and I got it in .357 Magnum. But pretty quickly I got a Ruger Blackhawk .357 Magnum, and I got the yen for .44 Magnum. So I traded off my .357 Magnum Hawes for a .44 Magnum Hawes Western Marshal. And this gun actually became the first cartridge cowboy gun I used in matches about 15 years ago, maybe a little more, around 1995. Up until then I had shot cap and ball in matches, but and you know, you spend all your time at the loading table getting them charged up, so I decided I wanted to get into the cartridge game, and I had this gun, so I brought it into service and then started acquiring more single actions, and you know how that goes. So let's load it up. We're going to be shooting black powder .44 Magnum cartridges out of it, and I'm going to load it with 5 and put one empty under the hammer. And I know my rounds are dirty and grungy looking. I didn't happen to run these through a tumbler before I loaded them. So here's the sequence that we go through on all of our single actions. Load one, skip one, and then we'll load the next 4. Okay, now when I cock it, as you can see, there's going to be an empty chamber under the firing pin for safety. All right, let's go see what it'll do. Well, Evil Roy awaits us. We're in a fresh coat of paint. So let's take the Hawes Western Marshal and see if we can make them ring. All right, that's not too bad. But you can't get a Western Marshal anymore, but you can get its successor. J.P. Saurer sold off the tooling to Herman Weyrich in Milrichstadt, and they're the ones who produce the gun imported by European American armories called the Big Bore Bounty Hunter. So if you go to EAA and you look at Big Bore Bounty Hunters, basically you're getting a Western Marshal. They've gone through some changes over the years, and the Big Bore Bounty Hunters have a transfer bar safety. But it's a very similar gun, very similar in look and feel, and they're fun to shoot. Well, let's see if we can make some water fly with my 40-year-old Hawes Western Marshal. One of the benefits of a gun chamber in 44 Magnum is that it can shoot everything from the little short 44 Russians over on the left through 44 Special in the center, or the big high-powered 44 mag, so it gives you a lot of versatility. All right, we're going to change things up a little bit. We've got a honeydew melon downrange, and we're going to shoot it with the Hawes Western Marshal, but instead of the black powder, we are going to be using full power 44 Magnum jacketed soft points. Let's see how we do. Now that's what I like to see. All right, we're going to try something a little more challenging. Got a can of shaving cream set up about 12 yards downrange, and we're going to try some full power 44 Magnums on it.
That was pretty good.
Yep. Well, that 44 Magnum really ruins a can of shaving cream. Guess I'm going to have to grow my beard a little bit longer. We'll finish up with the bad guy's view of the Hawes Western Marshal.